Hello everyone, I'm Wade. Today we are here with teacher Leticia.
Hi.
And to get us started, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you teach here at FUNDAY?
Sure. So, hi everyone, I'm Leticia. So far I've been teaching here at FUNDAY for a year and a half. The classes I teach mainly include FUNDAY Article Rewind classes, pronunciation, grammar, live conversation, and of course certification classes. By the way, I'm the lead teacher of the certification classroom.
So what are the certifications?
So the three certifications are IELTS, TOEFL, and TOEIC.
So are these classes specifically for people who want to take tests, or is it open for anyone?
Right, so that's actually a very good question. As we all know, a Gold TOEIC certificate is actually one of the most sought after pieces of paper in Taiwan for a lot of English learners, right? Because obviously it looks really good on your CV, and usually if you have a good resume, you're already halfway there when you're applying for a job, right?
True.
So this is when the certificates come in handy when you want to enter a global company or want to also try to expand your career.
So those are like the basic requirements, right? You have to have this certification.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
So other than using it just to pass a test, are there other benefits for taking these certification classes?
Definitely there are, because I guess it's pretty understandable to assume that the exam classes are only for test takers, but actually it's not, because if you look into details of the contents, it's actually very practical. So I would say, to put it in a very simple way, just imagine yourself living in an English-speaking country, and if you want to survive, you kind of have to understand everything you see in a day, right? So from the emails that your coworkers send you to the local grocery store's catalog.
Menus or everything you see.
If you want to order a pizza, you'll need to know what to tell and what to order, right? So actually, if you look into the contents, it could be pretty diverse and it's very interesting.
So these things, the practical questions and stuff, are included in these tests.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. I also think it sometimes comes down to even how we approach it, because I know some people, and we were also probably guilty of it, when we took a test, it was more about, I just want to get a good grade.
Yeah, we've all got this experience.
Yeah, and I think it's a different approach and more important when we are motivated by, I actually need to use this, I want to be able to communicate better, and that way I learn these things and it helps me to pass and get a good grade, but also I can actually apply it into my life.
Yeah,
because essentially that's what you're using it for.
And also you can use it to build connections with people as well.
Right, so true.
When I first heard of this, I was wondering, how are you going to use this test materials to build connections? But actually in those classes, be it the TOEFL, TOEIC, or IELTS classes, we're going to go through a lot of training, which teaches you how to catch the keywords of a lot of long passages or maybe a very long email. And by doing that, you will have essential skills that you will need to use when it comes to analyzing others' speech critically in English. By doing that, you will be able to build an even deeper connections with others.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, in short, like certification classes not only gives you a brighter future, but brings you more friends.
Yeah, that's so important, because you actually want to connect, and in order to connect, you have to be able to speak their language. And even just what you mentioned in having like the tool to catch key phrases, even if that's your start, I think that's a good foundation to lay. So, okay, another question. So I know teachers, obviously, they enjoy seeing students with great outcomes. Do you have any interesting stories that pertain to a student?
I do have one. I once had a student who was a high schooler back then. She was really fluent in English, and also she had no trouble expressing herself.
Sounds like a good student.
Yeah, but it was precisely because she was doing too well, she was too afraid of making mistakes. So she was really stressed out, and she had this nervous breakdown before the exam. And she told me that she couldn't pay attention to any of the listening parts in TOEIC. So yeah, she messed it up a little bit at first. Yes.
Because she was seeking for perfection and didn't leave any room for mistakes, so the pressure probably got to her.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess for most cases, stressed students are just too hard on themselves. And I would say just try to relax. Whenever I encounter students like this, I will tell them to share their fears with me, to actually get it off their chest. And once they open up and also get their concerns explained, and even just simply share it with someone, you get this
That's huge.
feeling of relief. Yes, yes. And then they can put the focus back on the test and to have the right mindset to finish the exam.
And I think what you mentioned, it's such a big key point in that sometimes it's actually important to make mistakes.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Like I think sometimes when we grow up, we think like, no, don't make any mistakes. You need to do everything perfect. Get A's all through school. I mean, it's good to get A's, don't get me wrong. But I think in order to get those A's, you need to find out where you're lacking. It's actually important for us to make the mistakes, but then to learn from them. That's key point, right?
Yeah, and also, do you know effective way to kind of avoid the mistakes at first?
Please share.
Okay, so I would really recommend to start early, to start as early as possible, so then you can allow yourself more time to get used to the testing system.
Sure.
When you're sitting the test, you'll be like, oh, I've seen this all. And you will do better when you're relaxed and then when you feel like you know what's going on. Yeah.
Would you say that's an advice you wanted to share with the students?
Yeah, that's true. And also, like Wade just said, even though we've heard of this 1,000 times, but try to embrace your mistakes because at the end of the day, we learn from our failure, not from our success. Right? So just see it as a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. For sure. That's good advice, and it's important to actually take those steps. Because I think, even bringing back to your earlier point, it's so important to make those preparations because we've all been there, we can relate, that maybe sometimes we are not as well prepared and very last minute. Definitely, we are way more stressed, we are way less likely to do well. And I think that's why it's so important if we do prepare ahead of time. This makes me think of a saying that says, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail.
Oh, that's pretty
Deep,
cool.
Huh? Yeah, that's a very good quote because it does make it very practical and you can kind of understand that, if I don't make the necessary preparations, I can't expect good results. So I think it's very good advice that you've given and shared with our students, and I'm sure they'll hopefully take it in and apply it into their own lives as well. All right, so thank you so much for your time today, Teacher Leticia. And please do stay tuned to get to know more about teachers here at FUNDAY. I'm Wade.
I'm Leticia.
And I'll see you next time.
I'll see you in class.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.